let's make an AI video together.
Bombardiro crocodillo.
Traglialero tralala.
Zimpanzini bananini.
Ballerina cappuccina.
Tung tung sahur.
Yep, those ones, the ones with super realistic audio and lip syncing, and the visuals also look super realistic. We're gonna try and make a video like that together today. And the reason for that is because I was actually talking to a client of mine yesterday, and I was trying to pitch to them that, hey, for your advertisements, why not try and use VO3 and make an AI video for advertisements? And they were definitely a little put off by that suggestion. And that completely makes sense because we're not too sure about what the capabilities are with something like this quite yet. And so that's where I feel like I almost have this obligation, this duty to experiment and then show you guys what's happening, because that's the whole point of my platform and the social accounts that I'm running. It's to document my whole journey of using AI and building these AI systems and how you or other businesses around the world are or can use these AI systems. So what we're gonna be starting off with is actually learning about VO3. I am not too sure about how to use VO3 quite yet, but I do know that it has just become available in Japan, so I can kind of play around with it. And to make sure I'm not falling into this road of just being a perfectionist and perfecting my craft without actually putting any action and working on making the video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself 25 minutes to learn all that there is to learn about VO3. I got a couple videos right now online, and anything beyond these 25 minutes, I will have to learn while I'm actually making the video. And so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. 25 minutes starting now. Alrighty, so my 25 minutes are over. I definitely went a little bit, just a tiny bit above 25 minutes. I would think I was about like 28 minutes, but there is a lot to unpack over here. I just learned everything that there is to learn about VO3 and its capabilities and its limitations. All the videos look very cool, but when you're trying to actually produce a video with direction, with dialogue and character consistency and things like that, it definitely does get a little bit tricky. Now, I haven't created any videos quite yet, but we will see how it all goes. What I have for right now is basically the script of a video that I was already planning, and now we're gonna try and turn it into an AI video. If you can kind of like see it, it is a very extensive script, so I'm definitely gonna have to compress it down a little bit more, make it a little bit more simple for VO3 to understand and be able to like spit out videos based on the script. And on the left side over here, I have ChatGPT open to kind of like track the best practices that there are when it comes to video generation with VO3. Coming up with this list is pretty much all I did for the last 25-ish minutes. And so step one of understanding and learning VO3 is done. Now, step two is taking this script and turning it into prompts that would actually be consumable by VO3. So, by the looks of it, it's gonna be pretty rocky. The AI model is definitely not quite listening to me, but I do wanna make sure that I am being super transparent and giving you guys an honest review of what's happening over here and how to really play around with VO3 and how to really supercharge yourself enough to use VO3 to the fullest of its capabilities, right? So again, that was the whole point of me coming up with this list of best practices, and I wanna be able to share this list with you guys by the end of the video, so you guys have an idea of what works with video generation models and what kind of prompts don't really work out too well. And regardless of what the output might be for me for my Meridian advertisement, I still want to post it. Maybe if it's a little whack, you'll get a couple more eyes on it. People might be able to understand it a little bit better in terms of what the real life use cases of something like this is. And you know, I'm saying that there definitely are limitations, but again, it is super impressive what it can do already. And if this is the benchmark, the floor for how bad it can be, imagine how amazing it could be if you give it a little bit of time, if you promise for companies to develop the models a little bit more, give them a little bit more time, and you would be able to produce AI videos that can be used in real life scenarios. Guys, I've done it. Well, I mean, Scene one, it took me a lot of brain power because again, sure, ChatGPT can spit out these amazing prompts according to my best practices, right? But you still need to come in and use your creativity to really think about whether or not you should be adding in certain details in a prompt or should you be taking them out, right? So it took me a little bit of brain power, and I think I have something that is pretty decent. So let's go ahead and look at this first scene.
It wasn't always like this, though.
Alrighty. Okay, calm down. Let's not get okay. Let's break down a couple things over here scene by scene, right? So captions are not the greatest at the moment. Oh, hopefully you can kind of see that, but captions at the moment are not very great, right? That is something that we can look past. Given how amazing the rest of it all looks, we can look past the captions for now. There is this, again, this is not something that I added in necessarily, but there is this glow around that computer screen to kind of like give this futuristic vibe about it. That's not something that I asked for, but I guess that VO3 definitely does have some creative capabilities where it will add in a couple things that you didn't necessarily ask for. But again, it doesn't really hurt the shot too much, so I'm not too bothered by it. And yeah, you can see that, you know, the numbers look pretty all right from what you can see. The texture and everything of different surfaces like the table, the leather on the chair is good enough. You know, it definitely does the job. And this is right now at 720. I'm viewing it at 720. But when I do export it, hopefully I can export it at 1080p. And definitely good progress. There's definitely good promise here. Again, it's all about being able to use it correctly so that you can see the most accurate, the most detailed outputs according to what you wanted. I'm gonna keep working now.
One eternity later.
Alrighty, and that is done. So I think it took me about an hour 30 minutes maybe to come up with all the different scenes and, you know, really prompt engineer some prompts for VO3, but it definitely is a lot simpler than having to go through a full production of any kind of video that you may be making. And again, this is at a very preliminary stage right now. This is only the first version. Well, VO3, it's third version, but you know what I mean. It's really just that starting point, and from here on, it only gets better and better. And so if you are interested in seeing the output, the results of what I did so far, definitely go ahead and subscribe or follow wherever you are watching this. Depending on when you watch this, the video is already out on my social accounts, or it will be out tomorrow. Now, I'm not gonna be able to just show you guys the video right away because I do need to use the power of editing to put these clips together and maybe add a little bit of music of my own, some sound effects of my own. And so I'm gonna have to actually hand that over to my good friend Darrow, who's my editor, and he'll take care of, you know, putting this whole video together for you guys. And alrighty guys, so I know that I told you that I won't be showing you the video until tomorrow, but I did want to quickly just react to a couple of the clips that we made. This was yesterday, I made these yesterday, but I thought about, you know, doing a little reaction and give you guys some pointers about what exactly I did wrong when I was prompting VO3. And so I'll go ahead and play a couple of these videos and then we'll kind of walk through what I did wrong, what I did right. So this is video number 1. I'm gonna open it up and let's play.
It wasn't always like this, though.
All right, so the main reason for why I want to show this one, and then there's another version of what I made over here. This one right over here.
It wasn't always like this, though.
And the difference that you can definitely see is how they deliver that line. That someone is a little bit more, I don't know if I can be saying someone, because I don't know if these are people, but basically one of the AI models, one of the AI video characters, I'm trying to be politically correct here, and I'm also trying to make sure that I'm not personifying AI here. One of the AI characters definitely delivered that line a little bit more happy, and another one delivered it with a more monotonous tonality. So the big difference between those two prompts when I was creating those two videos was just the fact that I said, make sure that the AI character delivers the line happily or like with grace in their voice, right? And you can see that that is something that it can definitely understand and it can definitely deliver on that. So that was one clip, and let's go ahead and go on to the next clip. All right, this one's a funny one. So yeah, I'm sure you saw what happened there. Basically, the AI character kind of just like phased through the chair and then sat down, right? And I think the main reason that happened is because in the prompt, all I said was that the character was coming in and sitting down on his chair. And that's a lot of moving parts in the video. What I should have specified a little bit more is maybe the character actually turning around the chair and then sitting down and then, you know, pushing himself in and then, you know, looking all distressed and things like that. But I didn't do that. And you can also see right now that there already is a body without a head on the chair. And then as the character phases in, he kind of like meshes with the other body that's sitting on the chair there. Very interesting stuff. Again, I was trying to make sure that I didn't overwhelm the model with too many details, but whenever it comes to moving pieces in a video, I think you should definitely be a little bit more precise and detailed about how each object should be moving in the video. All right, let's go on to the next video.
There is so much I need to do to run my business. I don't even have the money to hire a full team to help me.
A couple things here. Actually just one thing that it did right and one thing that it did wrong. When I was prompting this video, I really wanted to make sure that I could like push the realism factor on this, right? So what I did is I actually added some sweat on the AI character. I really focused on the texture of the skin, the pores that you can see on the AI character's skin. And this is intentional because I didn't want to overwhelm the model again, is I didn't mention how they should be delivering the line, how the AI character should be delivering the line. And you can see there that even though the line does sound very negative, the AI model doesn't quite know that, and therefore very plainly delivers the line without showing any distress in the AI character's voice. So very interesting stuff so far. And let's move on to the last video. This one is a bit of a creepy one. All right, and because this one's so creepy, I'm really hoping that my editor, Daryl, can figure something out to make it a little bit more friendly, maybe with some music and stuff like that, I don't know. But basically, in the prompt, what I told the VO3 model to do was have the human sleeping on its bed, right? On its bed. And have the computer working in the background, almost like the AI is 24/7 on and working and helping the human get through tasks even while the human is actually asleep. And the reason I make that distinction is because the model perceives the term AI agent in a very interesting way. Yeah, so very creepy stuff. Obviously in the scene, the human is there, but then the AI agent that's meant to be working on the computer is actual body. I don't know what to say about it. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to make your own opinions about it. I don't really have anything to say about that. Maybe I'll put the prompt somewhere on the screen, the exact prompt that I wrote, but again, I didn't necessarily say that the AI agent should have a body and should be typing or anything like that. So all I really said was that the AI agent is working in the background. And this is what VO3 came up with, an actual body for the AI agent. Very interesting stuff. All right, anyways, that's about it. You guys can go back to past me, who was still, I think, ending the video. But yes, so at the moment, Google AI Pro is the plan that you're going to need if you want to use VO3. It is slowly rolling out to different countries around the world. That actually wasn't available in Japan until 3 days ago. And there is this currency system thing, AI credits, and you get about 1,000 on the Google AI Pro plan. And each VO3 generation takes you about 100 credits. So you can play around and produce about 10 VO3 videos. So if this is available in your country and you're curious, definitely go ahead and give it a try. Even if you are not any kind of business or entrepreneur, it's just good to have an understanding of how AI is progressing through 2025. Now, before I end this video, I do want to give you guys a little bit of value that you can take away from this video. So I'm going to kind of spitball a couple of these do's and don'ts of writing prompts for VO3. So I have 3 things that you guys should be following when it comes to prompt engineering for VO3. Number 1 is making sure that your prompt is about a paragraph long, not too long, because again, if you give it too many details, it's gonna get confused and there's gonna be too many things that it needs to do. And what I've seen is that most of these outputs are about 8 seconds long. So if your prompt is super long and it only has 8 seconds to cramp up all those different directions that you have into 8 seconds, it gets confusing, gives you a very confusing, jumbled up version of whatever you were asking for. Number 2 is definitely giving it enough details. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but again, You don't want to overload it with too many details, but give it just enough so that it understands what it needs to output. As you saw earlier in my prompt, I didn't necessarily tell the model what kind of things that I want on the computer screen. So kind of got a little creative and added some extra bubbles around the edges of the screen. It was a little weird looking, but it definitely does get a little creative if it doesn't know what it needs to do. So be detailed, but just the appropriate amount. All right, so number 3, this one is a bit of a tricky one. What I've noticed is that if in one line you have multiple things that you're talking about, then it gets a little confused. For example, if I'm asking for a wide angle shot and also a close-up of the computer screen, it gets a little confused as to whether or not it should start with a wide angle shot or if it should start with a close-up shot. So definitely make sure that you break up those details into separate sentences. And as I'm talking, I kind of realized that I'm giving you guys the do's and don'ts all in one place. So here's one don't that you should definitely not do. Basically, whenever you have dialogue within your prompt, have the dialogue at the end of the prompt. I've noticed that whenever you put the prompt in the middle of the paragraph, it kind of doesn't find the dialogue properly, or it says a line in a way that you didn't necessarily intend for it. You could definitely try and put the dialogues at the start of the prompt, but I didn't necessarily try that. I have all my dialogues at the end of the prompt, and it worked out pretty well that way. Alright everybody, that's all I have for you guys today. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.